Hello, everybody. Hi, it's Vlad. Hope y'all are doing well this evening. Streamed a little bit late. My wife and I, well, kids can be a lot mentally. And so I kind of didn't stream to help out my wife. So that way, if kids were being crazy or trying to get out of bed, I would be able to help her, which thank God I was. It's been one of those days, man. It's been one of those days. But welcome everybody. Welcome. To get some of the new stuff out of the way, because we did talk a lot about, Intrepid's levels of communication yesterday, and there was some communication that came out, but not in the way that I would have wanted information to come out. And it's been this way pretty much ever since January started. But just to kind of show you, Ash's Moments or AOC News and Updates on Twitter put up some tweets, some messages that Margaret was saying early this morning. So basically about the in-game reporting feature that's being worked on for players or bots, more specifically, is estimated to be delivered around March, according to the Director of Communications. The update earlier was added, the update earlier today added additional EAC enhancements to protect against cheaters. So this is what Margaret said. Yeah, the in-game reporting system is being worked on, but it won't be in for a bit, probably March-ish timeline. So probably end of March or April. And yeah, that's all good and well. And then of course, there are many bug fixes and changes being QA tested internally at Intrepid. These will be delivered to a PTR public test room for players to test themselves once Steam approves the new service. More announced in the dev stream on January 30th. So there was a question that was asked and says, when will a major update arrive? And Margaret basically said, tune into our live stream this month for more updates on what's coming. So that kind of lets me know that we're not having an update this month. And again, the fact that this is all well and good, I'm always grateful that Stephen or Margaret can go and answer the community. But why isn't this being something that is announced to everyone? Like, there's so much like spiraling negativity out of control because of this super lack of silence from you guys, like you, Stephen, you, Margaret. And, communication is in your title. Like, you need to be able to, yes, communicate this question, but to everyone. The fact that we have to go and have like these tweets, like, I don't know, in my opinion, is acceptable. Like, I keep harping on it because I feel like it's gravely important to announce the community as a whole, so kind of settle down everybody. Because right now I think a lot of people are just, a little overworked and stuff. So it's just, I don't know. It's just really, really weird. I'm like 20 minutes too late to have the chat bot working. No, you're good, brother. Yeah, it felt different since this new year. Yeah, no, me too, brother. Like, I felt like the vibe, like almost like something shifted. I don't know if we entered like a new timeline or what the hell's going on, but it just feels like something shifted. And now there's just like crickets. Like, it just feels very crickety. My question is, if we will get an update, let's say February, is it going to be a wipe? I don't think so. I really don't think there's going to be a wipe anytime soon, to be honest with you. I think that at the earliest we might see a wipe would be probably in April or May, like at the earliest. If I wasn't here 4 a.m., I wouldn't know. Yeah, I know exactly. Like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, like, and again, and I said this yesterday, like, you could literally just do like an Alpha 2 news announcement to everyone and saying like how big of an update you guys are working on. What are like the big hitters that are going to be in this patch? Say that you're kind of waiting for Steam's approval for this PTR that you're trying to spin up, but, ask for feedback on certain things that you guys are cooking up in the future, like what's kind of happening right now. Like, it's so easy. It's literally so easy. But the fact that someone asks like when a major update's going to happen, and we like tune into our monthly live stream to find out, like, okay, so that's the 30th. That's literally in 10 more days. Right. And so basically at the earliest, we might get an update on the 2nd, right? On that Monday. So which is technically not this coming week, not next week, but the following week. And I just think people, regardless of an announcement, not announcement, like people are already getting fed up with uh the test. They're getting fed up with the phase. They're getting fed up with the game. They're getting fed up with the bots. And I think right now it's like too little too late at this point. And regardless, like testing really isn't for everybody. And I know that. But at the same time, it's just like I feel like all of this could have been like alleviated, at least at least to an extent. And I feel like because we haven't, gotten any statements, it just feels very weird. Like, you know what I mean? It feels very weird. Skip aheads say PvP changes. Yeah, saw some content on crate issues. Looks like crates will be PvP action. Yeah. Like, I mean, I thought this was something we already talked about already on the channel, but yeah. So basically, someone asked about the whole flagging. Why don't you get flagged for picking up a crate? And Steven basically said that yeah, that's something that we're basically working on. It should be getting in shortly, which potentially means that with this next major patch could come where if you pick up someone else's crate, you're going to be flagged as a combatant. And cool, like great. But again, the fact that no one's going to go into research on a Reddit post for this information, you know what I mean? Like, again, I really appreciate something like Ash's Moments or like, doing these things to like fill in the community. But I think again, like just having like one big announcement of like, hey, setting expectations, like, we're waiting for Steam to do this, do that, or whatever. I don't know. I keep spinning my wheels on this. It's like, it's a done deal. Like, it's not going to happen. It is what it is. I was getting annoyed when I was trying to push crafting hard. But now I started my own little guild and it's chilling overall, feels everything's much better. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm really, really glad for you, man. Let me see. I feel the caravan system should just throw it away and copy paste his arcade system. That's what a lot of people say. I don't know if it's the real play to do that or not, but I mean, again, I'm always up for A and B testing. Right now we've had A. Why don't we try something completely different in B? Right? I think that'd be really, really awesome. This next patch better be a fucking huge, or there's gonna be a riot. Yeah, I think if it's not as substantial as they keep saying it is, and here's the thing too. Let me also deflate the hype for a bit. I honestly don't think there's going to be any content in this patch. So it's going to be a huge patch of nothing but adjustments, number tuning, like adjustments to systems like, being flagged while picking up a crate. But is there going to be anything new? No. Like if anything, we might get more fixes to the Harbingers update so people can do that more often. We might get, things that are currently existing in the game, but I seriously don't think that we're going to receive any kind of a new bit of game loop or any new content. Like this whole thing is just going to be what we currently have. So I'm just kind of setting expectations myself from you guys because we have no statements. It's hard to say if they plan for something big or just throwing the game on the back burner or the back of the barn. I don't think they're throwing it in the back of the barn, but it just, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, and no one does. And this is why it feels weird. Let me see, avoiding wipes in a testing phase has more cons than pros. They should wipe more often and increase experience rates so people will only use gear and don't have that much to grind. I mean, honestly, I think at this point in time, we already have enough data on the leveling grind. We've done it like, I don't know how many times. I'm pretty much down for that personally. But they're constantly doing changes and stuff like that to leveling. Like they're doing, like they made leveling actually faster this time around compared to the way it was for early access. You see, apologize if breakthrough through chain, but how's the new family member working out? Hopefully good holiday season. If you're talking about my 6-month-old, yeah, she's doing great. I mean, 6 months olds just, they have a lot of, there's teething, there's, a whole bunch of stuff, but no, she's doing really fantastic, man. Thank you for asking. Is open beta this year? Probably not. I mean, again, just because you're trying to shoot for beta doesn't mean you're going to actually hit your target. And again, when has Ashes hit their target on anything? Like when they say they're going to, we're going to have this system by this time. oh, we're gonna have Rogue by this time, and then it got delayed, and then it got delayed, it got delayed. Think of any system you were excited for, and think how many times that system got delayed. So again, like beta is not happening this year. Let's be very, very clear. It's definitely not happening this year. Let me see. Also, only releasing the slash function in March is very worrying. A report function should not take that long to make. They're released bug systems in the past. What are they worried about now? I'm not too sure, man. I'm not too sure. Like it again, I don't know how easy or hard it is to code something like that, but I will say, like, I just hope that we get those things a little sooner rather than later. But I think also, I mean, let me just be honest with you. I think people are over dramatizing the bot stuff. Like, are bots like crazy? But I think there's just so many more bigger issues personally than botting right now. There's way bigger fucking issues. And it's not saying that I'm trying to sweep botting under the rug. Botting is an issue. But I mean, golly, the fact that the marquee feature for early access is still broken is not acceptable. There's a lot of things that are happening system-wise that aren't acceptable. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just feel like people think that when this stuff actually goes in the game, that all of a sudden, like overnight, bots are just not going to exist. And I really want, again, to set expectations. I feel like once we even have an in-game reporting and we have all this other stuff, like bots are still going to be in the game. Now, mind you, they might not be into this degree, right? But they're still going to be there. So I don't know how anyone's opinion is on that thing. Like, as far as like, oh, like if you're the mindset, well, like, bots are going to be there, but they shouldn't be there in this quantity. Completely agree. And I think if you're that kind of person where it's like, why can't Intrepid just hire someone, for 8 hours, on roundabout things to just fucking delete them as they see them kind of thing. Like, I don't know how the process is on that stuff. Like, I don't know, like no game has done shit like that. Like back in the day, there used to be, of course, person GMs that probably did shit like that. But nowadays, like it just doesn't work that way anymore. Intrepid could do something like that, but I don't know if they are or not. You see, also saw content claiming Steven accepted solo/casual players do play a factor in the system. Interesting to see what changes that may come from solo/casual. I think that'll be interesting too. As someone who's been playing a lot, yeah, software development is hard, man. Yeah, I know. Don't we know, brother? Well, I don't know, but but yeah, I as a solo player, as someone who likes playing solo, I'm really curious to see what kind of solo loops and solo gameplay that they're going to be implementing in the game. I think wiping anytime soon would affect the new players and should expect a mass exodus if they choose to do that. I think honestly, when it comes to wiping, I am of the mindset to wipe when major systems were broken and are now fixed. And if they're fixed, we probably should wipe to test these brand new systems in a fixed environment rather than in the broken environment they were once in. But right now, there's so many broken systems. Like vassalization is broken. Like Node XP finally got fixed, but there's so many other systems in the game that were working that then became broken. Like sports fishing is a hit and miss right now with fish. And then you have, like, of course, the Harbingers event. There's, I don't know, man. There's just a shit ton of stuff. And then the whole node stuff that's happening right now with settlements and the boons and the food elixirs and the quantity and stuff like that. And I don't know, like, it's just, there's so many things that feel so fucked. Let me see. I don't know. I have fun killing bots, easy loot. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Not allowing solo and casuals to feel relevant would be the death of the game, any game. Also need to understand that they need to balance combat for 1v1 as well. No, that's terrible. I think, again, so coming from World of Warcraft, I think trying to balance it a 1v1 is absolutely terrible. The thing is that at a 1v1 level, you're going to lose towards certain classes. Certain classes will just have a big advantage over you in a 1v1 setting. And again, if you don't like that, if that's something that you don't like and you say, well, I disagree, like, I think it should be a 1v1. I don't know if that's a philosophy Steven's going to be willing to change. And again, I think maybe with enough feedback, with enough people that think like you, maybe it could happen. But I would say a lot of the people in the community don't want this game to be balanced at a 1v1 level. I tell you that right now. The marquee feature for phase 3 is also broken, rotating, lawless POIs. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? There's so many things, man. Pretty sure you got to have a legal paper trail for each one. Getting the game done is more important than the bots, to be honest. Once they have the systems up, they can worry about the bots. Yeah, I like I said, for me, I think there's just bigger fish to fry right now. Not to say that the bots don't need to fry, they do, but we have fucking many systems that need immediate attention, in my opinion. I support PvP and community, but yeah, some of us have work/family. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it allowing people to play solo and doing things solo, as someone who has a family myself, like, is always good. Now, I do love the group aspects of this game. I think everybody, appreciates the fact that the group based aspects are really fun and engaging, but you also need to have solo stuff too. The problem with a lot of modern MMOs is they lean fully into solo. So group feels totally tacked on and ancillary. Here in Ashes, group feels almost like a necessity in some moments, which it is. But that doesn't mean you can totally just obfuscate solo gameplay. Like, solo gameplay needs to have its own route too. Maybe not as optimal, maybe not as forced as a lot of these other MMOs do, but it does need to be there, and it does need to feel meaningful. You see, if they wipe more often, it'll stop a lot of people from buying gold and botting because they think there's no point. This is a test. They aren't the characters. People would still do it. Maybe not to the degree of what it is now, right? For not knowing when the next wipe is, but people would still do it. People in this community are crazy. I just never understood why so many things that are broken are the same things that I've been broken since Alpha 1. It's like they fix it and it breaks again consistently. Well, yeah, of course, because anytime anything new gets added, stuff can break again. Like, literally, like UUD was working on my bot and he's like, oh, it's fixed. It was working last night. And then we tried it out again literally today and it was broken and they need to go in and fix it. That's a very small example of like getting a bot to like relay messages back and forth from two separate platforms. Imagine it on an MMO scale, right? So for me, I've never been upset about that because things can get broken. The things that were one fix can be fixed and then be broken on the next update because new code got added and fucked with everything. And especially for how interconnected this game is, there isn't a lot of standalone systems. I mean, there are some, but there's not a lot that don't intermingle with each other. See, if we're talking about things that involve networking and performance, I agree with you, but it involves highly complex coding. Some things should still not be buggy, though. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it just depends. I mean, there's a lot of shit that can break, but, it is what it is. Let me see, my desert cooking recipes still don't work from phase 1. I cannot overstate my level of salt. Let me see, the people that buy gold always buy gold, 100%. The people that buy gold will always buy gold. Let me see. Why can't they just directly communicate this stuff in Discord, etc.? It's all many are asking for. Tell us what's going on. They have a director of communication as the community manager lead, and there's no community outreach to manage. Yeah, that's what I mean, Dark. I completely agree with you, man. Like, I've been stating this from the rooftops for a while, and I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what's going on, and it's just annoying, like, as a player. Because they're capable of it. I mean, they did a great job communicating last year, but now it's like crickets for me, no reason. Like, it's literally no reason other than just for you guys just to cricket. Intrepid have continued change UE with new verses, so it's consistent. Maybe chasing your tail. I think Peon said that. I mean, the thing is with Intrepid being on the newest update of 5.7, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying to pave the way through. I think Chrono Odyssey is running at 5.4, so, or 5.3. I don't remember. They're not on the latest update personally. But yeah, it's I'm not even going to pretend to know it because I really, really don't. But like I said, let me pivot over here because I finally got permission from Phantom if I can watch his video, and I didn't get to watch it yesterday, and everyone was saying how great of a video it was, and so I really want to watch it. I haven't got a chance to watch it today, so let's go ahead, watch it, and I'll give my feedback and see what this video is all about. This video is entitled "The Full Story of Ashes of Creation: Past, Present, and What's Coming, or What Comes Next." So this should be interesting. Like, the hunting system is killing us softly. bro. If you would have, Blight, were you here yesterday when I was streaming? I was talking so much about the honey system. Adept Gearcraft should be way more accessible. I feel like there's a lot of the tier 1 and tier 2 stuff is pretty accessible. But yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. Give me 1 second. Let me put on my headphones. I think they should just give us rogues a button where they can just kill all light users on screen. It's currently inconvenient to use up skills to backstab them, and they should also be able to fly. Okay, dude. That seems pretty crazy for a rogue to do all that. Let me see, none of the quality to show for it. Yeah. All right, let me stop being depressed real fast. Let me watch this video real fast. All right.
Ashes of Creation has now been on Steam for several weeks. Last week, we had a deep dive into the numbers of concurrency, reviews, and revenue.
Oh, God.
We now have enough distance from launch hype and the numbers to start asking real questions about where this game is headed. This video is about how financial runway, development timelines, and public messaging started to converge in 2024, and what that convergence might mean for 2026. As we get started, I want to specifically say that this is not meant to be a doom video. This is not meant to be a hate video. This is a pattern analysis video that I have outwardly and internally discussed for some time, and I feel it is at this point an important conversation to have. I've followed Ashes of Creation since 2016. I've made content since 2017. I want this game to succeed, and when patterns change, it's worth slowing down and asking why. Some of you will probably strongly disagree with some of what I have to say, and that is okay. Frankly, I hope that some of my observations and conclusions are ultimately wrong. This will be a long and information-dense video, so feel free to jump to different chapters. I have put links to all of this information in the description, so you don't have to just take my word for it.
All right, let's
start with publicly documented facts and history. Intrepid Studios has been developing Ashes of Creation for nearly a decade. We were introduced
young
to
optimistic
the Ashes
Steven.
of Creation Kickstarter on May 1st, 2017. Here, nearly 20,000 backers pledged $3.2 million. At the time,
That's
it had
crazy.
an estimated delivery of December 2018 and was noted to be fully funded by the owner, Stephen Sharif.
We have enough self-funding to create a core viable product in Ashes of Creation, but we really want to expand it. We want to make it bigger and better, and we know we can achieve that with your help.
Ashes of Creation entered its first testing phase, Alpha
Oh,
Zero,
God.
in December of 2017. We were then introduced to Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, or APOC, in September of 2018, which was a battle royal meant to test combat and networking. APOC closed on March of 2020. We then entered into Alpha 1 in July of 2021 and Alpha 2 in October of 2024. Early access officially began December of 2025. During this time, we also saw a switch from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, and currently the team is using Unreal Engine 5.6. Stephen Sharif has said that during the switch to Unreal
No. Aren't they on 5.7? I could have sworn they were on 5.7. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could have sworn he was on 5. That maybe not.
Unreal Engine 5, many of their development tools had to essentially be redeveloped for the new engine.
I would say that we had definitely some reset on systems when we moved from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. That was particularly true when it came to the map of the world as well.
Cosmetics were sold from 2019 through 2024 as the
Which basically meant that when he said in the map as well, I'm pretty sure he meant like the whole in-game world, which means they had to start completely all over from scratch.
main source of revenue alongside key purchases and various pre-order packs. These pre-order packs cost between $75 and $375. In August of 2024, Intrepid introduced a three-wave process specific to Alpha 2 keys, which granted access to Alpha 2 at different times, and ranged from a price of $100 to $120. During this time, cosmetic sales were suspended. With the opening of Steam Early Access, the sale of cosmetics has now resumed. Cosmetics have ranged in price from $5 to $25. Steven Sharif has made several public comments about the costs of developing Ashes of Creation. Most recently, he stated that the studio's weekly spending is around $800,000, which comes out to nearly $3.2 million per month. This figure is based on a reported team size of about 250 employees. During an August 2024 livestream, Steven said that the project had cost roughly $90 million up to that point. He also stated that roughly $30 million of that has come from pre-order sales and Kickstarter. Based on that statement, it would mean that around $60 million had come directly from his own personal funding at that time. That live stream took place about 17 months ago. During the same interview, Steven said the studio had over 200 employees at that point. Using the current spending estimates, this suggests that an additional $50 million may have been spent since then. The Kickstarter itself raised about $3.2 million. If roughly $30 million total came from Kickstarter and pre-order sales combined, that would suggest approximately $26.8 million was generated through pre-order packages and cosmetic sales between.
That was nothing. Like, again, they probably didn't get the amount of money they wanted, but I don't think money was ever really the subject here, in my opinion. Because again, why we were all basically telling them that going to Steam was a bad idea. Like, everyone was saying that. So clearly there was some other back-end agenda at play. I honestly don't think it was money.
2019 and 2024. Spread across that 5-year period, this works out to about $5.4 million per year. Intrepid also received 2 government loans during the COVID period, both of which were later forgiven. The first loan was issued in April of 2020 for $1.1 million and listed 52 employees at the time. The second loan was issued in February of 2021 and totaled $1.4 million, with 82 employees reported. Combined, these loans provided a total of $2.5 million. In addition, public legal documents show that Intrepid Studios has had at least 2 outside investors. One of these investments occurred in August of 2019, when an investor purchased a 5.3% stake in the company for $2.2 million. There is also a second stock purchase agreement dated July of 2016, although public records.
Aurora, dude, thank you so much for the sub, man. I hope you're doing well, man. Wow, okay, so they got the investor. He's got the investor agreement here. The commission agreement in this one. I hate the way this is so legal jargon.
Do not list the amount invested or the percentage of the ownership for that deal. From 2017 through 2024, development moved at a slow but steady pace. Progress was visible, but it was measured and often took longer than many players expected. However, starting in the second half of 2024, the pace of development appeared to increase much more quickly. That raises an important question. What changed in 2024, and how did we get from years of gradual progress to now openly talking about a beta potentially arriving in 2026? Everything up to this point is about context, because without that context, the rest of this video doesn't make sense. What comes next isn't speculation, it's about documented changes that start showing up right after 2024. Between 2024 and 2026, several UCC filings appeared in California public records tied to Intrepid Studios. UCC filings are typically used when a lender secures an interest in a company's assets. Public records show that multiple parties were involved, and at least one lender later appeared as a partial owner of the company. One UCC filing appeared in May of 2024, followed by another in August of 2025. As I was finishing this script, yet another was placed on January 14, 2026. During the same timeframe, a legal action was filed by an individual seeking access to the company's financial records. As an investor in a California corporation, this type of request is legally allowed. That filing occurred in June of 2024 and was withdrawn in July of 2024. Public records also note that this same investor had previously placed a UCC on Intrepid Studios in 2020, which was later allowed to expire. Additionally, Intrepid Studios was temporarily suspended as a company by the state of California in April of 2024 and was later returned to good standing in November of 2024. During the same period, there was also a brief change in the individual serving as Chief Financial Officer. Shortly after these events, we began to see a much faster and more structured rollout of Alpha 2 for Ashes of Creation.
Sorry if I'm not pausing it too much, but holy shit. This video is so dense with information. Okay, so there was an investor that took a lien out on the company in January 14th of this year. So either something had to happen with that investor over early access or something. Like I have, because honestly, like it's super weird too that in Discord, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Steven is offline. I have really never seen Steven offline. I think maybe once in the past for like a couple of days, but like I've never seen him offline. And that also just kind of adds to this weird vibe that's going on. Okay, humor comment. Anyone else just notice his stiff body and only his head facial moves? Reminds me of a digital puppet on the movie Johnny Mnemonic. I guess the way he almost reminds me sometimes of being like a newscaster. You know what I mean? Steven has been this. Oh my God. Don't even say that, dude.
The plan to begin Alpha 2 in October was announced very late, at the end of July 2024. In August of 2024, the Alpha 2 roadmap was publicly revealed. Phase 1 was scheduled to begin in October, Phase 2 in December, and Phase 3 was originally announced for May of 2025, before later being delayed to August. It is important to note that meeting the goals laid out in this roadmap.
Was it August? I could have sworn it was September. Let me see. Yeah, today marks the 1 week mark of this new ban list, but he's been offline in Discord for like 2 to 3 days. Yeah, I know. It's just super duper weird. Let's see. They delayed live stream because they need to deep fake and use Steven. Oh my God, dude. Steven is an AI character. It's a psyop. My God.
Proved to be difficult. The Steam Depot for Ashes of Creation was opened on October 20th, 2025, a little over 2 months after Phase 3 began. According to reporting, the move to Steam Early Access was communicated internally to Intrepid Studios staff for the first time on October 30th. A scheduled development livestream was originally planned for that same day, but was ultimately delayed until November 14th. It was during that November livestream that the move to Steam Early Access was publicly announced. This announcement was notable because after the failure of APOC, Stephen Sharif had previously stated multiple times that the studio would not return to Steam. Not long after the Steam announcement on November 23rd, Steven made a late-night post on X, where he publicly discussed the possibility of beta in 2026 for the first time.
Yep.
In December, he followed this up with interviews with multiple content creators where he repeated the same timeline. During an interview with Dusty Y, Stephen Sharif was asked about his hopes for 2026. He responded by saying,
and then my hope is that we find great partners next year so that we can, continue to deliver on established pipelines that we iterate on, that the community is receptive to and wants to see more of. And then that we find ourselves with significant progress towards a beta next year.
Stephen did not clarify what he meant by great partners or who those partners might be.
Like, because again, Steven's a rich dude, totally get it. But the fact that this financial burden has been on him this entire time, like, I don't know about you, right? But the fact that, like, all of us, I'd say, like, if you live in America, right, like a lot of people are facing a lot of like financial hardship right now. Like bills are very real. Paying rent, paying your mortgage, paying your car, paying whatever. My wife can't handle financial stress well. And we're a single income house at this point, right? So like the money that I make on Twitch, like I literally just, as soon as I get it, I use it to pay whatever bill I can, whatever credit card payment we can. So this is kind of like I call it burn money, right? Which just pump it to whatever card or whatever thing to alleviate the financial concern. I couldn't even fathom to be in millions of dollars of debt, or, being the owner of a company and, potentially like facing bankruptcy, facing, the dream that I have to, make a game, right? And poured in like millions of dollars of my own money. Like I can't even fathom that kind of stress. So it doesn't really like bother me. And I always kind of imagined like, because Steven says, oh, people would say, oh, Steven says he's fully funded the game. It's like, I mean, if I could have help, you know what I mean? Like I would definitely, I would be down for help. So for me, when it comes to investors, like I'm not really like a negative Nancy. What's like, oh my God, people are helping Steven. But again, that comes with strings, right? Like it's not many people that are going to give their own millions of dollars to a game and not have some kind of say of what's going on with the project, right? Like they want to feel like if they're putting in skin of the game, they want, something to make their mark on it too. Intrepid is in the US. What is expensive to game devs, if was in Asia, Ashes would be almost half the cost. Oh, 100%. Like way more, 200%. Like if they were making this game in like Korea, if they're making it in, a lot of the times they'll get like Indian or like people from India, or they'll outsource to like these studios in, Middle East, Korea, Japan, because they'll just do it for way less, comparatively to America. So it's just, it's a lot. Not even regular millionaires can fully fund a game at 40 million a year. It's too much. Yeah, exactly. You must see, Steven said, I have enough money to fully fund the game till its core is complete. And again, I think that quote, and a lot of times when I heard him say that, it was always before 2020, right? And for me, I just think, to me, it's just unrealistic. And if he has said that post 2020, then I don't know. I don't really know what to say other than just like, that's kind of a dumb thing to say, because I don't think that that's realistic in this financial environment. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not good. You see, I know, right? If you're broke, you learn to survive. And if you want to think positive, it's the only path, is to get better. Well, that's true. Let me see. Sure. On the other hand, but company insolvency is not exactly the same as the owner is going to get bankrupt. The owner can stop putting down money and just let the banks auction the company off. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, and just kind of like, cut out his losses and just move on, right? If that's ever the case. Because to me, that's my ultimate fear. And this is, again, like the gamble that I and many of us took with funding a company that is very much in its infancy and is technically like a Kickstarter project, right? Like Intrepid needs this game to succeed in order to really become the gaming company they're set out to be. And without Ashes, Intrepid has nothing, right? And Intrepid is not known for anything else other than Ashes of Creation. So Ashes of Creation needs to get off the ground, and it needs to be good. Like that's the reality of it. The strings of chat partnership can literally sync the game too. It's a sad reality. That's very true too. Like I said, depending on what, like I'll give you millions of dollars of my money if you put this in the game or if you make these changes, right? Like, and that could potentially be against the original vision of the game. And we don't know. Like we have no idea.
He was later interviewed by a group of creators that included Vladis Gaming, Nice Gaming, Lude Lloyd, and Zyback TV. During that interview, Steven expanded further on how the team is thinking about beta and release. He stated,
with regards to, us moving into beta, obviously our goal is to get to beta in a sustainable, quality-driven way, right?
Absolutely. Oh, this was my question.
Our focus for beta is to establish the core systems of the project, but also making sure that we're answering our Kickstarter promises, because at the end of the day, this project
is everyone's question, really.
And so at a minimum, those Kickstarter promises are going to be fulfilled.
He then added that some content or features introduced over time could potentially be pushed back to after release.
Now, to what degree that, content and features that we've, brought along the way might get deprecated for a post-release update, that's still outstanding conversation, right? And that changes literally on a month-to-month basis. So I can give you some answers here as it stands today, so long as every person listening understands that that is subject to change.
What stands out in these statements is the repeated emphasis on meeting Kickstarter goals as a minimum requirement for release. this was not the first time hints like this had appeared. During an August 2025 livestream, Steven Sharif spoke about beta as the next major milestone and said that development was now on a new track toward beta.
Your job is to provide a schedule, essentially a roadmap internally that looks towards the next big deliverable.
Yeah.
And that next big deliverable is beta when it comes to a phase. So we know there's a lot to get done with regards to that, but those plans, the train is now on a new track, and that track is how we get to beta.
That same month, during an interview with Copium Clinic, Steven brought up the topic of exit criteria for alpha without being prompted. He told the community to look forward to next year when discussing plans around beta and launch.
Now the mind shifts. The mind is, how do we exit? And what
Let me see how many biomes they released so far. Riverlands, Anvils, Desert, Tropics, June Dark, 5. And they still have technically 3 more within to complete the Eastern Continent, which is the Redwoods, the Badlands, and Sajoma.
does exit mean, right? What does it mean to move into beta? Once we get into beta, obviously then that's going to shift towards how do we launch.
Not long after that, Steven was interviewed on Golden Feather Tavern, where he mentioned that the team already had the story for their first expansion mapped out. This stood out given that the game was still in alpha testing at the time.
There's a few ways to think about expansions. Obviously, from a storyline perspective, I think we have a pretty good handle of what the launch story is going to be, what the first update's going to be.
He later followed up with a comment on Discord stating that the team would talk more about beta and launch plans in January. So stepping back for a moment, here's why all of that matters. As we can see, there has been a growing amount of discussion and movement pointing toward a beta in 2026. We can also add to this how Ashes of Creation has performed during its first several weeks in Steam Early Access. As noted in my
85 was the goal, but now we could technically only launch with one continent, which could make up like 45 settlements. If we don't have the second continent, there's no way we're going to have 85. So we're only going to have half of that original goal, which would suck, but it is what it is. Yeah, and the Underrealm. Partially. It's not going to be the way they discussed the Underrealm back in 2017. This is going to be, and I think Steven did talk about it during that roundtable interview with me, Nice, Lloyd, and Zybeck, is that it would be very much a more condensed version of that, and then that would be further expanded through future patches or even expansions.
a previous video, it appears that early access sales may have generated the equivalent of roughly 3 to 5 months of development spending. At the same time, we can see a steady decline in player concurrency. The growth of estimated owners has also slowed, which suggests that incoming cash flow is likely slowing as well. Total review counts are also beginning to slip. So where does all of this leave us heading into 2026 when it comes to beta and a potential launch? Before moving forward, there is another piece of history worth revisiting. During the previously mentioned interview with Dusty Y, Steven Sharif made several interesting comments about the business side of game development. When asked how Intrepid Studios plans to avoid the same outcome as other recently closed Western MMOs, Steven said,
"Well, Intrepid has a unique history. On one side, there's a level of financial independence that is not predicated, that has not historically been predicated on our engagement within the investing ecosphere of gaming. In order to bring to life this project.
What stands out here is his self-correction and the use of the word historically. This raises the question of whether that relationship with the investment ecosystem may now be changing. In the same discussion, Steven also noted that attracting investors requires showing both community engagement and sales, two things that can be demonstrated through a Steam Early Access launch.
They are dependent on publishers and investors. And those groups of people, they look to see, do you have a community behind you?
Definitely.
Do you have a consumer waiting to purchase the thing that you want?
During this conversation, he also mentioned Intrepid's introduction of AI into the development pipeline.
Now, we do use AI, and we have begun to adopt AI as much as we feel is appropriate. We have an AI council that we have internally, which is comprised of a number of our leads and directors, so that we are capable of properly evaluating the ramifications of certain AI usage, and how it is being applied in the most respectful possible manner.
When asked about the idea,
I'm gonna have a hot take here. You guys might disagree with me, and that's totally fine. I'm not against AI. AI is literally Thanos. It is inevitable. AI is literally, it's almost like saying I hate the internet in 1998. Like, internet's not going to go anywhere. Internet's stupid. Like, AI is literally the new internet. Run from it. Like I said, the whole Thanos quote, it's here, and it's only going to get more and more and more integrated. My thing is that it is for me, it's always about engaging systems. Like, I could give two shits if a landmass was AI generated. Like, I could give two shits. To me, a landmass is not really, it's just a thing to look at. And I personally am of the mindset of engaging systems. I would play totally on a fucking completed AI generated landmass if you have really engaging systems for me to play on. Could give two shits. So people might be upset about that, but honestly, like, the fact remains is that AI is only going to get more and more integrated into your daily life. AI is going to be something that you're going to see more on web browsers, more in, on X, on TikTok, on whatever, YouTube, whatever it is. AI assistants, all of that shit is going to get, even on your phone, it's all going to get more and more and more integrated into your life. So again, you may not like that, but it's the reality. Definitely not a hot take. It's the truth. Yeah. I mean, and some people, like I said, when it comes to whole AI stuff, there's so many people that, don't like it or whatever. There are aspects of AI I don't like, but overall, I think it's a great tool if used by the correct person. And that, of course, is a very specific statement. And not all the time are you going to have like the right person using the right tool. And there are like very malicious actors out there using great tools for their own personal gain. And that's also a reality of the internet too. Like, you can't get around that. You know what I mean? It becomes an is what it is situation. Agreed. Some people literally stop backing up games because they used AI. It's such a dangerous topic, especially when facing bankruptcy. Yeah. And I know, because there's this whole poo-pooing of AI and people that just want it gone, because of like AI automation from jobs and that whole thing. And, it gets very, very much out of hand with the conversation. And realistically, there are a lot of positions, or a lot of things that teams could use AI for to really like 2, 4, even 10x their productivity with AI. And again, AI isn't like this end all be all right now. There's so much refinement still needed, like Grok, ChatGPT, like all these different AI bots and everything like that. They're pretty smart now comparatively to where they were in 2023. But there is still like a shit ton more refining of like tools and just all that shit. So again, I don't care if Intrepid's going to use AI. Like, I don't care. Like, just make engaging systems. Just try to get these bugs and, get these fixes in. And if they use AI to fix bugs and to fix systems, or even to potentially, get bots out of the game, and it's all done by AI, fucking awesome. Great.
Ideal size of the studio, Steven said,
if I were to have answered that question 5 years ago, I would have said that our ideal target is about 250.
Mm-hmm.
And I held true to that for several years. And I don't think I would change that answer necessarily today.
While he does not directly say that the studio wants to reduce its workforce, it is notable that he frames the 250 employee target in the past tense, referring to what he believed 5 years ago. He also went on to speak at length about outsourcing portions of development.
And, we've seen, of course, cyclical approaches in the development industry where, you hire on a bunch and then you lay off a bunch, and you hire on a bunch and you lay off a bunch. And Intrepid never wants to be in that position, right? And I think the best way to guard against that going forward for the outstanding needs that we have in additional support, development support, is to create good relationships with outsourced studios who can plug into our pipelines that we have generated, and can on a contract basis help to support what our development needs require.
Another interesting pattern to look at is Intrepid's historical difficulty with meeting timelines, both in game development and...
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, I understand like onboarding sucks, you know, at any company, onboarding always sucks, right? To catch up people to like not knowing systems, not knowing how you do things, like educating them on the process. It's a bitch. But there are some people, and I have some friends that are in game dev that literally like arm string, you know, certain companies because they think that no one else can do their job. And I would say it doesn't truly work at these like bigger companies, but at companies like Intrepid that doesn't want to, you know, fire people, like I am sure you're going to keep someone on that does the bare minimum, right? Does enough to get by, but doesn't do like enough as potentially maybe the other staff members or whatever. Because again, to onboard like a new, whether it's an artist, whether it's a new like VFX person, whether if it's a new like combat person, whether, you know, whatever it is, I think, you know, you have to kind of look at your people and gauge like, you know, like you've been here at the company for, you know, 5 months or whatever, like, and because believe me, like at my insurance job, bro, oh my God, there were so many fucking people that literally either ran out the clock, did like the most mid job ever. And I get that, right? Like people call it like quiet quitting or whatever. But I don't come from that particular generation, like of just like doing whatever. Like, and maybe it's just like my work ethic, like in a workplace, but I don't. And again, I understand the whole like companies don't give people their due or whatever. And fine, totally understandable. But I think especially like at Intrepid, like if you have people that just aren't pulling their weight, then you need to try to find someone who can. But companies in that position, like how many times have we saw them on X, like say like, hey, we're hiring, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, if you can't find someone like good enough to replace someone that's mid and you're trying to find someone who's not mid, right? Like, again, there's always gonna be applicants potentially that you're literally potentially firing one mid employee to put in another mid employee in that sense. But like, if you're trying to find someone truly exceptional, it's going to be hard to fulfill that role in the kind of position Intrepid's in, right? Because wouldn't they want to go work at like Riot or Blizzard or Activision or, you know, any other company here in the USA? You see, I mean, some people just want their paycheck and don't necessarily have to love their job. They clock in and out. You see this in any company. No, for sure. But I would say, especially with companies like Intrepid, like game devs that are literally trying to make a game and have deadlines or whatever, and you are a company that is known for constantly missing deadlines, like, you know, I think there's like, again, there's always a kind of a different culture at every particular job. And sometimes there are jobs that if you do the bare minimum, like they're pretty much just going to let you go because that's just not the culture there. And again, I don't know how Intrepid is. A lot of the people that I've talked to that worked at Intrepid say it's pretty damn good. But I think the people that I've talked to are very much workaholics, right? So I don't know how that is with everybody. I don't assume everybody at Intrepid is a workaholic, but like, I don't know why the missing deadlines happens, like how much of it occurs. You know what I'm saying? AI is here to help. If we have to choose between not having AI in the game failing or having AI in the game not failing, I choose the latter. As a developer, if I get replaced by AI, it is what it is. Yeah, and I think honestly, I don't know if AI yet. I don't think probably within the next 5 years will actually replace a dev. I think it's just going to give that dev a very fucking sharp sword to use, right? Like that's literally you're going to like your AI companion at work, right? Like you have like an actual assistant. And if it could get to the point of being a legitimate, good, really accurate assistant, holy shit. Because it's like now instead of having 250 developers, you literally have 500. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that's the beauty of AI. It's not the fact that you're now, you know, going to have like 250 employees and you're going to fire all of them to just have bots run your game. Like, that's not how it's going to work. Like, you are going to have like a legitimate assistant on your hands to help you like in your course of making this game. And I think, again, like I've used Grok, you know, and I've sent a lot of this shit, you know, to plan in, to send to the right people, because I've used AI to be very imaginative of secondary augment abilities. Like when you get a fighter and a mage, like how does the fighter's, you know, maim ability now get with the fire augment? And I've sent like all these things of how Grok integrates like fire to maim in these super compelling, non-overpowered ways. Like try to make it very realistic and not something that's just overpowered for the sake of overpowered, but something that is actually fun and engaging as the player. And AI just comes up with some amazing fucking suggestions. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? We see more of a tool than a replacement. Absolutely. Currently, at least right now, like maybe in 10 years, 15 years, it could actually replace like an entire graphic division in a company. I just don't think that's anytime soon. I wouldn't say replace a dev now, but it does stop companies from hiring now devs because you can just 10x the existing ones. That's another problem because it kills the natural cycle of new developers eventually climbing up as they improve. Yeah, and again, there's going to be shortcomings to the system. Totally get it. But that kind of happens like at every company, right? Like certain companies are like, hey, we're only going to have this amount of people and then we're not going to hire anymore. Like we don't need to hire. Like that happens even now. You know, it's going to happen probably definitely more with AI, but it's the gaming sphere has always been very competitive. Like it has. It's just one of those jobs that are just super competitive, very sought after. Like even if you have like the necessary requirements and even experience, it's still hard. You know, AI is cool. They have to give that man anything, he needs to keep pushing the boundaries of tech. They have to give Anton, or they have Anton. I don't know who Anton is, but maybe someone who works at Intrepid.
As a company, we have already discussed how the company was previously suspended by the state of California due to missed deadlines. Because of that history, it stood out when Intrepid's next statement of information, originally due in May of 2026, was not only filed on time, but 5 months early, on December 30th, 2025. This filing means Intrepid will not need to submit another statement of information which lists the board of directors until May of 2027. That raises a simple but important question. Why the rush to complete this before the end of the year? There could be many explanations, but it does not match Intrepid's historical pattern. From a timeline perspective, Ashes of Creation has stretched from a 2017 Kickstarter with a 2018 target into nearly a decade of development, moving through multiple alphas, a full engine switch to Unreal Engine 5, and finally Steam Early Access in late 2025. Financially, Intrepid Studios has now publicly acknowledged roughly $90 million spent by mid-2024, with ongoing burn estimated at about $3.2 million per month, funded through a mix of Stephen Sharif's personal capital, pre-orders, cosmetics, forgiven COVID loans, and at least some outside investment. Since 2024, we've also seen clear business inflection points, UCC filings, brief corporate suspension, leadership changes, faster alpha rollouts, and a reversal of the long-standing no Steam stance.
Oh, he said
At the same
guy.
time, Stephen Sharif has increasingly
Give that
framed
man AI
2026 as a beta target, emphasized fulfilling Kickstarter promises even if features are deferred, hinted at new partners and investors, discussed outsourcing and AI in development, and subtly shifted how he talks about staffing and financial independence. Taken together, the timeline, spending pressure.
You never respond to anything I say, I'll just stop talking, mate. Well, I'm sorry, brother. Like I'm literally trying to watch the video, and then I'm not mentioning everybody. I'm just talking like who's more recent. Sorry, man. If you feel that way, like I apologize, but you know, usually when I'm doing a video, I don't respond to every single statement. Vladis, you can pray for my brother Dixon. He may have gotten COVID. Wow, that sucks. I mean, COVID shouldn't be that bad anymore. Like at least now, like, I mean, I know some people that are still pretty severely overweight, may have like more complications, but I don't think it's too bad. I don't know. Has he been, did he get the shot thing?
And Stephen's own words suggest a studio that has entered a new phase, one where beta planning, business structure changes, and financial stability are now tightly linked. At this point, it's worth pausing to consider a set of purely hypothetical scenarios. If a studio were facing financial pressure, what kinds of outcomes might reasonably follow? For example, what if cash flow constraints led to delays in planned Alpha 2 bonuses, shifting them from October 2025 into February of 2026? What if, in an effort to ensure long-term stability, outside investors were brought in? What if that process resulted in the formation of a formal board of directors? And what if December played a key role and directly influenced how a beta in 2026 is being positioned? None of these.
I understand like the whole like beta 20s, and I know Phantom is really going on about that. I just don't like it's a goal, right? Like, and it's not going to happen. It's like even an investor would have to know, like, if you put millions of dollars in your money in a company that has missed almost every single potential deadline, why would you then be like, you mean beta's not going to make it at the end of 2026 like we promised? Like, I like, come on, brother. Like, I don't know what you're thinking at this point. You know what I mean? Like, as an investor at that point. Let me see. RuneScape survival MMO player build economy is the idea, I believe, is the track. Well, of course. I mean, if Intrepid could get their Arcage and Lineage systems like working, I feel like there just needs to be some balances. There needs to be balances to the crate system. There needs to be some balances to the caravan system. There needs to be balances to the flagging system and corruption. Like, I feel like some of the systems can work. It's just there's massive adjustments that's needed. Yeah, and if you're gonna log out in a major city, brother, do not log out on Jova, especially if you're on Shoal. Like, it's a death trap. Like, don't ever do that. Let me see. Do they have money to push past 2026? Don't know. I don't know. And if that is the case, what a very scary prospect that could potentially be. And I think if they need more money, like, literally just change the cosmetics. Like, do cosmetics again every single month. Like, I'll fucking buy them. I know a lot of people will buy them. So I don't know. Let me see. It's the fact that Steven keeps doubling down on trying to meet 2026 beta. That's scaring people. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. But I mean, again, like, bro, we had a whole trailer of when Alpha 2 was going to come out, and they still missed it. They still missed that deadline. So I they can keep announcing whatever they want, but the fact remains they're more consistent on not hitting their deadlines than they are hitting a deadline. So you see, Steam sales wasn't hot by player numbers. Let's be honest. It wasn't anything to write home about, but the fact that, you know, I think that we had very steady concurrence was pretty damn good, I would say. Let me see. I'd hope so. Cause unless I'm missing something, how would I beta raise that revenue? By going EA, no one cares about a beta. Yeah, I think right now people care about the live launch. Alpha, beta, all that's meaningless. The only thing that ever mattered was a live launch. And if we aren't in a good position to be at a live launch, then the game could just die. Again, that's a very realistic statement. If we get to live launch and the game is in a very bad state, and me as a content creator, Phantom as a content creator, every video that you see at the time of, like, you know, oh, let's, as an example, like October of 2027, and in September of 2027, I'm making videos, you're watching my streams, you're watching a lot of other Ashes streams, and be like, hey, are you excited for launch? What do you think? Like, do you think the game is ready for launch? Like, and all of us are saying, no, it's not. The game is not at a spot to launch. Then I would be very fucking worried. Like, and that's always been my fear. I want all the content creators to be very confident a month before launch. And if we do fail after that, well, at least we can say we went in with the systems working and all the intention was there. It was good, but it would suck if, like, it ended up failing because we basically tripped at, like, the, you know, 20-yard line. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that I'm worried about personally. You see, even one biome isn't done, by the way. Beta 2026. Yeah, right. People care about the new content, at least more people. Yeah, true. A suggestion: if floating, don't ever unstuck, log out / change character, then character main screen, wait for CPU memory are flashing and not solid lights. A lot of info, dynamic action, other players to load. Yeah, I know. I really hope they come up with more improvements, because it's so hard whenever you're just riding your mount into the game and everything's just like popping in You know what I'm saying? Like I would rather, and I'm mean this in all sincerity, I would rather have settlements be instanced than than how the current performance and settlement shit is now. Like it's terrible. So bad. Yo, I got a question. Would you recommend getting AOC now, or should I wait? Maybe price to drop. I'm loving the way it looks, seems to feel. Well, Chop Brother, welcome. I would say to wait. Wait probably for February, if not March. And just wait to see when certain things get added. If you feel like, if you come back to my stream, or if you're going to become a regular viewer for my stream and you're hearing me say like, oh my God, the game is so much better, all these systems are improved or whatever, then I would go ahead and buy it. But right now there is so much aggravation on top of what already is to be an alpha, that I think a regular player would be so turned off by where the current state of the game is. Even if you like the way it looks, even if you've seen the systems and how you've seen other streamers and like, oh, that looks like a lot of fun, you're going to immediately get that fun out of your system in like 5 minutes. And then all you're going to feel after that is aggravation, frustration, and anger. So I would definitely wait, brother. I really would wait. When perform up, I'm always crashing. Oh yeah, you're saying all your specs. Some performance is also due to bad layout. We need storage and market area. Well, yeah, we need a whole bunch of shit. You know what I mean? Like changed around in those settlements. All right, thank you. I'm a regular MMORPG player. I generally love MMOs. Yeah, I mean, like I said, and Ashes has great bones. If you love MMORPGs, Ashes is a great PVX bone system, but the bones need a lot more flesh. And right now we have a lot of fractures in the bones of our skeleton. So it's just, I feel like it's not ready on so many different levels that I'd rather you just save your money and wait for like maybe a couple of major patches to hit. Let's see, what do you think? How many players will be there on launch? I think we need at least 200,000 players or more. I honestly feel like Ashes will hit over 1 million players. I do. I think if New World can hit almost 1 million players with all the fucking drama and issues that New World had, I think Ashes could hit about 1 million as well worldwide, pretty easily. Especially with Korea and a lot of the other countries, I think those countries alone could hit over 1 million. But we'll see. So, agreed. Ashes bones are great. The flesh is a little mangy and neurotic, but the bones are stout. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the bones are okay. Some of them are fractured. Some of them need some, some braces. But for sure, we have a lot of work to do.
Points are presented as established facts. However, if developments like these were to occur at any game studio, they could have meaningful implications, potentially influencing oversight, accountability, and decision-making. Framed this way, these questions invite a broader discussion.
See, Ashes isn't doing anything different, though, at least not right now. Well, I don't think right now matters. I think a lot of people literally focus on the right now when the right now does not matter at all. It literally does not matter. I remember when New World came out in its first beta, and this is before they delayed it a year. And there were so many things and problems and issues, and people literally forgot all those things because they came out a year later and with another beta. And it was literally like all the stuff that people forgot about now all remembered. Again, the internet has a very short brain, and all people are looking forward to is the new MMO. And if New World was visually stunning and had great environment, mind you, they turned Surviving onto an MMO, but Ashes is hella hardcore for a 1 million peak. But so was Lineage 2, so was Arcage. And again, a lot of these new Lineage and Arcage players are looking at Ashes. And many of them are still not playing Ashes right now. But I can guarantee you they will probably try it for $15 a month with no box cost, wherever they are in the world. So again, we have to flesh out all these systems. We have to literally get all the paper designs that we have and implement them into the game. Right now, we are literally playing on Ashes like at 15% of the 100% of where it should be. Like, we have so much more room to go. It's not like we're at 65% and we have like 35% left. Like, that's not how it is. Like, we have a lot to fucking go. A lot. Which is why I don't think we're going to make it towards beta this year. You see New World 1 million has more to do with AGS Twitch marketing campaign than itself was kind of insane. I disagree. I think this happens all the time with MMOs. People saw the train wreck. People literally saw Asmongold talking all this shit about New World. Every major streamer was talking shit about New World, and people still tried it. Like every MMO launch is usually pretty fucking hype. So tons of people try Ashes, but the real question, will they retain players? That's always the real question. That's always the real question. But you said try, and I'm saying it's probably gonna be over 1 million. Now, realistically, I think we could potentially retain anywhere between 250 to probably 400,000 worldwide if the game is good, if all the systems are the way they should be and everything like that. But who knows? Like, who knows?
Circumstances like this change how we interpret a move to Steam Early Access or how we understand development priorities heading into 2026. Even as hypotheticals, they highlight areas worth examining as the project continues to evolve.
No, Mag, I'm not concerned. When it comes to player numbers right now, they could literally be at 1,000 in my mind, and it would still not make me bat an eye. I know a lot of content creators would doom and gloom the whole like, oh my god, did you see that Ashes is only at like 1,000 concurrent players a day? It doesn't really matter. Again, the only thing that matters is the launch. That's it. That's I'm being dead ass. Like, that is the most important thing, because all it takes is a new patch. All it takes is a new hype wave of Steven going and doing this round table of all these major content creators. All it takes is Lazy Peon being excited, Asmongold to be excited, your favorite streamer to be excited, for you to be like, oh yeah, I was negative a month ago, but now everyone's all being positive about it. Like, I'm positive now. Like, again, people change their minds so fucking fast. And, you know, it's how the internet always worked. So I just think, again, it doesn't, player concurrency does not matter in an alpha. It really doesn't. And nor does it have any kind of influence into like how much is going to be there even at the launch. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 was in early access for 3 years. Their early access for the first 3 years ranged anywhere between 2,000 concurrent players to 4,000 concurrent players every month. Did that matter? Baldur's Gate 3 sold literal millions of copies. Millions of copies. So it's not an indicator on anything. Like, all it is, only thing that ever mattered was the launch of Baldur's Gate 3 and the word of mouth that came up prior, which is like a month or two before, and the launch. That's it. That's all that ever matters. The day before everyone remembers this game. Yeah. It's funny how many players that got. Wasn't it? What didn't that reach almost like 50,000 when we all knew it was a fucking scam? Like, what the fuck? You know? And even that fucking game did it. So yeah, I think to hit 1 million, they need to do more marketing and do cooperation with big streamers if they are ready for the launch. Bro, and Pat, if you remember 2020, that's where I came in. Steven went on this whole fucking internet spiel, like he was going on every major streamer's stream, like Asmon, not SFan, but it was like Summit 1G. He talked to Tim the Tapman. He talked to Shroud. Like, he was fucking everywhere. And that's how Ashes of Creation, to a lot of people, ended up becoming almost mainstream in the MMO genre, because of Lazy Peon and all these big ass fucking streamers. Steven knows all of them. Steven has a good relationship with Asmon. He has a good relationship with Lazy Peon. He has a good relationship with fucking everybody. Every major streamer Steven has a good relationship with. You don't fucking think that would be like a month or two before the real launch of Ashes of Creation that he's not going to do some internet's interview circuit with all these big people? You bet your ass he's going to fucking do that. I found the game through Asmon's. Yeah, me too. I was literally watching Asmon. I was literally watching him react to the Lazy Peon video live. And then Steven calls him live on Discord when he was heading to Vegas. I was fucking in that stream. I was there. That's how I discovered Ashes of Creation myself. So again, I understand that people like to think that Ashes is going to die. And if Ashes of Creation dies, it's because, you know, it fucking ran out of funding, or it's because, you know, Steven decided to shut their doors. But I think right now, if they have enough money to make it to launch, the only thing that's going to make Ashes of Creation die is technically Ashes of Creation. If the game is shit, the game's going to die. But if the game is good, like, word of mouth to me is not going to be the issue. That's not the issue. The biggest issue is, can Ashes of Creation achieve, you know, the things that us as the community want for its systems at the launch date? That is the thing. The only other thing I can think of to play devil's advocate a little bit is queues, right? Like, but again, look at how, dude, I remember Asmongold playing New World and he had a 12-hour queue. He literally slept on stream. So I think even queues still actually creates hype. Like, they, like, in a sense, they are very annoying to deal with, but at the same time, he did the same thing for Classic WoW. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it happens all the fucking time. And I am not of the mindset, I've never been of the mindset that that's going to kill the game. Only the game can kill the game. That's it. Like, we said that about WoW, like, nothing's going to kill WoW except WoW. And it happened in Shadowlands. Nothing killed WoW except fucking WoW, because WoW and the systems of Shadowlands had fucking terrible ass systems. The devs were so fucking tone deaf, never decided to listen. And then what happened? Everybody left Final Fantasy 14 because they were just sick and tired of them not fucking listening and be that tone deaf.
With that recap and those hypotheticals on the table, the next question is pretty straightforward. If 2026 really is the year they are pushing toward beta, what does that actually look like in practice? And more importantly, what pressures could shape that decision? Based on the numbers we have already covered, Steam Early Access appears to have generated roughly 3 to 5 months of development spending on the high end. That's not nothing. That matters. But it also leads to
Mike, thanks so much for the sub, brother.
If
Thank you, man.
Access was meant to help stabilize finances.
It's so crazy. This is the, like, look at how this looks. This is a settlement. Look how awesome this looks. I really hope we can actually have settlements look like this, because they do not currently. And I don't know if this was just something that they kind of threw together, but man, like, I think we need a lot of sprucing up on the nodes stuff, because this looks really fucking good.
Then the runway it creates is not very long. And that runway gets even shorter if player concurrency keeps dropping
Cuban.
And sales slow down.
Good to be here too, brother.
What we are seeing now. So the core question becomes this: if Steam was meant to buy time, how much time did it really buy? And if that time is measured in months instead of years, what gets prioritized next? I've long said that beta would likely land in late 2026, and that release would be in 2027. But if the studio is looking at a tighter runway than expected, a faster push toward beta and release starts to make more sense from a business perspective, even if the game isn't ready from a player perspective. The reason is simple: subscriptions are recurring revenue. A box price is a one-time payment.
Look, I'm going to say a hot take right now. I think Ashes of Creation should be $20 a month. I'm just going to say it. Like, I think it should be $20 a month. And many people will be like, oh, like, that's going to be a death knell in the game. Like, bro, the fact that a lot of subscription models have stayed $15 a month since forever, like, is nuts. And again, I think they are going to keep with a $15 model. Like, I do. I personally think it should be $20 a month. Let me see if they sell cosmetics. I think 15 is good. Look, I mean, again, to sustain companies nowadays, like, and the reason why I say for Intrepid to do it, like, World of Warcraft is literally a multi-billion-dollar company. They technically don't need it to be 20 fucking bucks. But the reason why I say for Intrepid to is because they are a startup company. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think eventually, and how cool would it be if Ashes did get super duper successful and they ended up reverting from $20 a month to $15 a month, right? Like, thank you so much for supporting us. Like, we needed this, you know, to get on our feet and become like a truly established company. And it was by your hands and blah, 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 blah. And now it's, you know, we're going to mark it down to $15 a month. Again, that's my pipe dream. That's never, ever going to happen. But I just think Ashes needs to be a little bit more money, personally. And I know most people, excuse me, I know most people don't think that, you know, it needs to just stay $15 a month. But honestly, no, it's very hard to find things 20 years ago that are literally the same price now. It's so fucking hard. And I think, you know, monthly cost of MMOs is one thing that I've seen stay the most consistently. Let me see if dynamic grading and map size means they hit 30K ish players per server, $20 to have $20 to have 20 to 30K people in the world whenever you log in. Yeah, I mean, and again, I think because of how expensive, and I forgot, it was someone at Blizzard talking about like even server infrastructure and how expensive that's gone over the past 10 years. So, you know, again, with just ever increasing server costs, $15 literally goes hardly anywhere nowadays comparatively. Like, go to fucking Walmart or HEB or any convenience store and take $15 with you and see how far that gets you compared to how much that got you back in 2005. You know what I'm saying? The power of the dollar has completely changed. So I know most people, like, again, hot take, right? Like, a lot of people are like, no, don't change it, right? Because again, financial pressure. Like, we live in an age right now where everything's just increasing in price. Everything is so fucking expensive, you know? But I remember back in high school, I used to pay fucking 79 cents for gas. Don't spend that anymore.
Subscriptions renew every month. And once subscriptions begin, cosmetics can continue to rotate alongside
I am
them.
old.
So even if you don't love the idea of rushing, it's not hard to understand why a studio might feel pressure to move in that direction sooner. That's the tension I keep coming back to. The financial model rewards getting to subscriptions quickly, but the state of the game rewards patience. The part I worry about most, though, is what happens to the team. This is where my biggest concern sits, and it's not about drama, it's about people. If we take Steven's recent comments seriously about AI being added to the development pipeline, about outsourcing content creation, and about how he once believed 250 employees was the ideal target, those aren't neutral topics. Those are the exact areas
Ooh, Adon, do not mention battle passes in the Ashes community. Like, I think that'll never ever happen. Let me see. Yes, exactly. We need to advocate for price increases, but in the same breath state, this game will have 500 plus thousand subscribers. Well, I mean, and I do agree, like, not everybody has a US income, and I think it should be something equivalent to wherever you are, or, you know, the whole money conversion thing. But again, I don't think that this is an issue that's only US specific, right? I think there's been like pretty big inflation like across the world, right? Maybe not as heavily here in the United States, but I believe there has definitely been, you know, inflation. Who said battle pass? Scraps bit for. Let me see, Pat. Thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you. Yeah, that's good with this with the streamers. I'm kind of new to the Ashes of Creation world. Will they add more content for solo players to level solo, or is the focus most of the time with group? I hope they will add more for solo players. So, Patrick, they are going to add more, but just know that Ashes of Creation is gonna lean more into the group-based aspects. Right now, Ashes really isn't solo friendly. You can do things solo. Like, I've been streaming Ashes of Creation as a solo fighter. I've only grouped up once to go from levels 13 to 15, and that's it. Like, I have not really done anything outside of just doing stuff myself. But Steven did say that they were looking more towards like solo gameplay loops and things like that. Now, those things may not be the optimal way to do things in Ashes of Creation, but to actually pave a way and a road for solo gameplay, I think is a very, very good thing. Because in a socialized sandbox, or a sand park that we like to call Ashes, I think you definitely need a bunch of different roads. Because that's what a sandbox game is all about, right? Like, a sandbox game is like, it drops you there, and then what do you want to do? Like, there's things there that you can do, but what do you want to tackle first? Like, where do you want to go first? And that's what I think Ashes is trying to do too, but it doesn't want to leave it so blank and so open, but kind of give you different paths, right? And I think that's the kind of vision that I see Ashes kind of following. Let me see. I mean, you can't level solo. It's just going to take longer. Yeah, for sure. You can. I mean, I've been doing it, and I hit level 19, chat. I finally hit level 19. So one more level until I can actually put on Radiant gear.
Companies talk about when they're looking for efficiency, cost control, or scalability. And if Steam Early Access only bought a few months of runway, then the number of levers a studio can pull becomes
You get 24
limited.
just from crafting?
You either increase revenue, reduce burn, or both. Reducing burn usually means some mix of slowing hiring,
No fears, dude. Thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you.
None of this means layoffs are planned. It means these are the levers that studios talk about when margins tighten. This is where those earlier hypotheticals come back into focus. If a studio were dealing with cash flow pressure,
theme park elements can exist in a sand park too. Yeah, of course, that's the whole sand park analogy, right? Is a theme park and a sandbox married together. Let me see. They can add things like Final Fantasy 16 mount racing, in-game poker with gold wages, jumping and other puzzle games, etc., and attract casuals with housing, customization, gathering, crafting, etc., and solo pass. Not efficient but doable. Yeah, 100% agree. That's the beauty. And again, I think Final Fantasy 14 does a great job of having different avenues, right? But Final Fantasy 14 is definitely more theme parky. But the Golden Saucer, I think, is a really cool place to just, people literally play Final Fantasy just to do that all day. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a very, very, very good thing. And it makes it feel like there's more to this game than just the story or just raiding or just dungeons, right? Like, it makes Final Fantasy 14 feel more lived in. WoW has yet to ever capture that, at least in my opinion as a WoW player, because WoW has always just been a raiding simulator, like a dungeon and raiding simulator. And I think, Final Fantasy 14 does a very good job of making it feel like an actual world. Zachary, thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you. Warrior pointed that out, solo versus group and archetype like bard, cleric, tank. The leveling differences are huge. So I think Trap is doing well in that aspect. Yeah, I think they just need to go deeper. Like, everything in Ashes is so shallow right now. There needs to be way more depth in many of the systems, but we got to fix the systems first before we go deep. If you want to see the best blend of solo, group, and PVX, Eve has had it on lock for years now. Yeah, I think Eve has had its share of issues. And there's been a lot of Eve players that are actually have been coming to Ashes of Creation, which kind of speaks to the kind of design philosophy that Ashes is trying to become. But yeah, a lot of people from Eve have told me that myself. Let me see. I have players. So does the saucer thing in Final Fantasy. I have a player. So okay. You have a player that only does the final saucer. Yeah, I love the Golden Saucer, dude. I think Triple Triad was a great fucking game. I played the shit out of that game and I loved it. I'm a casual peon, did a content recently, and Steven has even pointed solo / casual do have a place. Talked about that earlier in the stream. Yeah, like I said, and I'm grateful that Steven finally saw that, because I think for the longest time, like, I don't think Steven really ever wanted solo to be a thing, which I was actually sort of fine with that, because we have so many MMOs that completely cater to the solo mindset. Completely. Like, you can do the entire game by yourself. You don't need anyone. And Ash is going in that bipolar direction. I thought, okay, well, this is a game that offers a whole different aspect. But I do realize that it's like, well, you still need a road, right? You still need a way to do stuff. So it doesn't have to be the way, but you do need a way, right? It starts the descent to its current state, to bare bones, but the technology is kind of there. Yeah. Let me see. Real Final Fantasy endgame, manage a successful nightclub and gamble. I don't think you're wrong, brother. Let me see. He'll be forced to offer a solo experience, because without that, the game will crumble. Well, I think honestly, you do need a casual base. Like, you do. And without a casual base, meaning a more solo friendly game, you're not going to have like the amount of people to support your vision. And I think that's the most important thing. Computer, do you thank you so much for the follow, brother? Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the stream. As an MMO player, are you investing your time in this game because you believe it's here to stay, or just because it's fun for now? Both. I've been having a lot of fun playing Ashes of Creation, and I am here to stay. Like, I was talking to my wife the other day, because, she's been, my wife, she goes in the Discord and she sees kind of like the community and how negative it's been lately. And, you know, I've talked to her about the lack of communication from Intrepid, and she feels weird about it too. And she was just saying like, well, what if Ashes doesn't work out? Like, what would you want to do? I said, I don't know. I truly mean this. I don't know. I set out to do Ashes of Creation, and I don't want to pivot to do another MMO. There's no, like, WoW does not get me excited. I am not at all excited for Midnight. As a WoW player of 20 years, I have not been excited for an expansion, my God, since Legion. That was the last expansion that I was actually truly excited for. Like BFA, like I remember when that trailer came out, I was like, oh, like it looks like it's going back to like, you know, kind of like there was for like Warlords of Draenor, but I was still kind of skeptical. And of course, playing BFA was like, so I feel like I'm just too jaded for WoW. I don't know what I would do. I truly don't know. I have to do something that I'm actually passionate about. And I am very passionate about Ashes of Creation, clearly. I just don't want to be fake about liking an MMO to appease an audience. And if I can't be passionate about the thing that I'm doing, then I can't do it. That's just my very realistic thing. And it feels sucky. Like it feels really sucky because I, you know, became partner in the Ashes community on Twitch. You know, I've had, I think, the most success I've ever had on a YouTube channel with Vladis Gaming. But if Ashes ever did not happen, or if it shut down, or, you know, whatever, I honestly don't know what I would do. Let me see Arcade, the new one later this year. I honestly don't get excited for any Korean MMO, dude. I've said this openly many times on my stream. The pay to win and the pay to convenience and the battle passes and all that shit, I just can't. I can't. I tried with Lost Ark. I really enjoyed Lost Ark, but the pay to win in that game just was the death nail for me. I just stopped. Truth be told, the end game of any game is usually boring. That's why you need a bunch of random stuff, instance ranked, unranked PvP. I hope Ashes makes it. Me too, man. I do. I truly fucking hope Ashes makes it, because we definitely need just more variety in the MMO genre, like at a whole. The fact that we still have the same fucking games at the top with no other like actual competition or just no other options is terrible. It's so terrible. WoW housing is interesting for some casual players that miss that. I just don't know the community if are there for it. You would know me better, I believe. I just feel like WoW housing at this point, that was a feature that players asked literally like 10 years ago. I mean, for some players, it's not too little too late, but for me, it kind of is. That does not get me excited about buying a whole ass expansion and doing shit in it. I feel like my time there is done. Like I am, like, to me, the best reference I can give to this is World of Warcraft is high school. I am 30 years old. What the fuck am I doing still trying to go to high school? Like, that's how I feel. I have no business going over there right now. And that's how I feel about it mentally. Like, and again, like, there's people like Royer, he still plays World of Warcraft. A lot of, you know, his group plays WoW and they enjoy WoW. I don't enjoy WoW. I enjoy being around them while we're playing WoW. But outside of that, I can't. Like, I can't do the solo stuff. I can't do anything. So it's like, if WoW is only ever going to be the medium of just raid logging, like, I'd rather just go in the Discord and hang out with them without having to play WoW. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Let's move on. We're almost done with this video.
And if things like bonuses were delayed into early 2026, you can see why people start asking uncomfortable questions about timing, staffing, and internal changes. To be clear, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm saying the pattern itself is what makes people uneasy. If beta is pushed faster, what are the real blockers? Even if the studio tries to move quickly, the game still has hard limits that don't care about schedules. From where we are now, the two biggest barriers to a real beta are clear. First is server stability and large-scale performance. If players can't stay connected, if PvP breaks down under load, or if the game can't handle density, then the entire promise of Ashes collapses under its own weight.
Any thoughts on the current state of PvP? I think fix flagging and add a PvP currency to redeem for PvP gear or PvP exclusive items, something to actually incentivize PvP other than contesting spots. Commissioner Creator, completely agree. There's hopefully a major patch that's going to be a lot of adjustment. We did get confirmation from Steven that you will be flagged for picking up a crate on the floor that isn't yours. So that's a really, really good thing. And I think that crate is either like an actual settlement crate or a fish crate. So that's a very good change, but there needs to definitely be more incentivization of PvP. And right now there just isn't. Like caravans are non-existent. The lawless zones are pretty much offline. I haven't even seen one. And we just need literally like settlements, like, we need lawless, like actual purposed lawless events. And we do not have them. I don't understand how people stick with WoW in 2026. The fact that people have add-ons to the point where you don't have to think anymore astounds me. All they need is an autoplay. Well, again, I think WoW has literally commercialized itself into ultimate solo status, like solo player mindset status. It is almost like an auto battler at this point, because you literally have a thing in the game where it's literally called a 1-button rotation button. That's not an add-on anymore. That's now baked into World of Warcraft. So you could literally have like a 92-year-old woman play WoW and play it pretty effectively if she can just press the button over and over. And I've seen old people. Have you seen that meme of people at the casino and it's just like a bunch of old people and they're just hitting the button over and over and over? You can literally do that in WoW now. It's like, I'm raiding, guys. Look at me raiding this boss. It's just so weird, dude. It's like, all right, bro, whatever makes you happy. For those new and not researched, some interesting goals of the system: no BOE/BOP. Everything will have lifetime. No world transporter or auction house. We travel, and no development requires more mat transporting. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff that Ashes is trying to do, but there is a lot of issues with a lot of its current systems that we need to for sure hammer out. WoW is meeting its audience where they're at. The audience is old, has disposable income, and has no time. Yeah, I think, but there's also a lot of new people in Ashes or in World of Warcraft too. There's a lot of young players playing now, which is kind of crazy, but that's the truth.
This has to improve in a major way. Second is botting, hacking, and enforcement tools. Right now, enforcement appears heavily manual. If players believe bots and real money trading are allowed to thrive, they won't stay, and they definitely won't subscribe. I'll say this plainly. If a game can't protect its economy and competitive space, players will treat it like it has no rules. Once that happens, you've lost the foundation needed for a long-term MMO. Those aren't the only issues in the game, but right now, they're the ones that decide whether the word beta actually means anything. Another thing that stood out in Steven's recent interviews is the growing focus on what looks like minimum viable product thinking, even if it wasn't always labeled that way. We heard that some features could be pushed to post-release. We heard repeated reminders that plans are subject to change. We saw a stronger emphasis on fulfilling Kickstarter promises at a minimum, even if other content gets deferred. That points to a possible future where release becomes more modular. Stabilize the core systems, deliver the minimum promised scope, ship earlier, and add content later. That approach can work.
It can work. I think personally, having no secondary content could actually be a very bad thing, because the one thing that I've always been concerned about, again, talking about queues, is starting zones. If you launch Ashes of Creation to potentially millions of players with only 2 starting zones and 2 funnel points, you're going to have insane ass queues. Like and you're going to have to spin up a shit ton of servers because of that. And I also feel like if you do something like that and add in an expansion where it's like, hey guys, here's an expansion and here's a whole other continent, how are you not going to make it feel like the old continent is irrelevant? Like, how are you going to do that as a developer? Because both continents need to be there at launch, in my opinion, because you need as many starting points to have as many people into the world as possible, into the server more specifically. But you can't make it feel like this content is old and outdated compared to this brand new expansion content, and there's no reason to pretty much ever go back. Like, I hope that there's ways to make it feel like it works, but I just don't know. Like I truly don't know how they can do that. Let's see, if they want to make it more Sandpark, they need to not bottleneck items to certain locations or gold to fishing crates. Wait, did I just say that? I feel like I answered that question. Yeah, well, if I did, sorry, but yeah, they're definitely going to be doing some more Sandpark elements especially when it comes to fishing and sports fishing, and probably potentially nerfing the crate system for sure. Midnight for a while is expected to bring life into the game. A lot of original players quit though. Lots of newer gen joined, and it definitely changed how the game is. Less focused on world, more on theme park. Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like it feels like I am like at a playground. Like I feel too old for this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a game anymore for me. Like I really enjoy Ashes of Creation. I enjoy the kind of social aspects of like my guild and like, you know, helping our guilds with like crafting an economy and, you know, doing adventuring stuff, doing like grind stuff, going and doing like PvP stuff. Like all of that just feels like more up my alley now. Again, with WoW, it's just, oh, do this. Like everything just feels like you get to a hurry up and wait situation. Oh, okay, you grind out the story and then now you have to wait 2 weeks because the story's time gated. Oh, now you did all the dungeons. We'll wait until the next major patch. Oh, you did this raid. Well, just do it once a week until the next major patch. Like it's just so formulaic at this point. Like World of Warcraft is literally like The Walking Dead season 14. It's like, bro, I've already watched up to season 6 and now it's just on fucking repeat again. Like it's the same slop in a different color, basically. You know, it's there's nothing different, you know. So that's kind of my thing. What is the Huntington supposed to look like when it's finalized? I have no idea. Like I literally have no idea. I hope good, but I don't know what the vision of an actual, like the actual system is supposed to look like. I really do love this game, but it's getting a little dry and boring. Nothing noticeable is changing. Yeah, I again completely agree with you. And right now, the alpha is going to be pretty much drastically changing, hopefully by this year. And we'll see. If you're getting bored, if you're not liking, you know, playing the game, take a break. You know, because right now apparently we're not going to get a major patch until February. That's kind of been pseudo confirmed. Because someone asked, like, when is the next major content update? And Margaret said, well, just stay tuned to our monthly live stream for more information, which means it ain't happening this month. So wait till our live stream at the end of this month, which is on the 30th, and we'll tell you when the next major update is, which isn't this month. So it's all instance in WoW. There's less friction with the players. It's all rinse and repeat expack. Yeah, exactly. It's just the same old shit, different day. The problem is they want us to run crates, but you need rare crates plus to make okay money. But you need the rare plus mats in the thousands to make gear. Exactly. Let me see. Yeah, more casual friends don't want to grind the profession since they know to get wiped. Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, I think right now people aren't putting so much of a focus because they feel like a wipe is coming, or maybe they just feel like I don't like playing right now. I'm just going to wait until, you know, they make some changes or whatever. Remember the last patch still doesn't work properly. No, I know. My brother, do I know?
Some would argue it's the only realistic way Western MMOs survive long term, but it does come with a cost. It changes what launch means, and it changes what many longtime followers thought they were waiting for. Steven has said we'll hear more about beta and launch plans during the January livestream. And I'll be honest, the fact that launch is even being discussed is what really caught my attention. Because in terms of content, systems, polish, and stability, this game is nowhere near what most players think of as launch ready. That livestream matters not because we need a perfect roadmap, because we need clarity. Even simple answers would help. Are we still thinking late 2026 for beta or sooner? What is considered minimum viable product for beta and for launch? What systems are non-negotiable? What gets deferred? What does success actually look like from here? And do you announce new partnerships with investors and the formation of a new board of directors? Is it announced that Steam Early Access allowed Intrepid to find new investors that gives us more development time? Hopefully this roadmap will answer a lot of questions and calm a lot of anxiety and fear.
Oh, please, God, if you guys are going to have a roadmap, Intrepid, please come in. Let me tell you. Let me tell you how to do this shit. this is what you do. Don't put a single fucking date anywhere on that roadmap. Anywhere. Don't say Q3. Don't say March, whatever. Just say, hey, this is going to be our 0.19 patch. This is going to be stuff we're going to have potentially on our 0.20 patch. These are the things that we have to go. We're hoping to roll out 0.19 soon. And this kind of shows you what's up for the next docket of, and just put even the next patch like summer. I don't fucking care. But like, don't put any dates whatsoever. Please, for the love of God, do not do that to your roadmap. Let me see. It's a test of the system. Each phase, different parts added and removed. This goes vassals, crates, summoners, sports fishing, dynamic gridding. So yeah, can get boring. No, for sure. Like I said, and usually with the updates and stuff like that, there's so much shit that they need to fix currently, and then adding more is just kind of crazy. Elite Fargus, you thank you so much for the raid, brother. Hi, hello, welcome everybody. My name is Vlad. I stream Ashes of Creation content. I exclusively only stream Ashes of Creation content. So welcome everybody. Hi. We're literally just watching our boy Phantom X's video, and we're just discussing potential roadmap for January, discussing like subsequent major patches and everything like that. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate it. Silver Lightning, thank you so much for the follow. Thank you. Let me see. I believe the biggest go right now is dynamic grading. I think, Sir Anton, please, fix and make servers amazing, because right now, like, server architecture needs so much. And oh my God, Silver Lining, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. Oh, you gifted it to Elite. Awesome. Well, there you go, brother. There you go. Let me see. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. What server do I play on? I play on the Shoal server. So yeah, I truly hope that dynamic gridding needs to be something that works amazingly, because right now people can't even 20v20 in Ashes of Creation. Like, you go into full on like it's so bad. And again, mind you, New World had, I think, a server population count of like, I think 2,500. It was like 1,300 when it first launched, but I think they definitely increased it to like 2,500. And you could definitely, like, there could be like 100 people on the screen and fight pretty well. Zigzag, thank you so much for the sub, brother. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. So yeah, there's just a lot of stuff they have to figure out server wise, because right now performance just overall, like, it's okay, like, if you're by yourself, but as soon as you start getting a lot of people, look at like any settlement. If you're like in Shoal, go to Jova, you'll see just how load in and out it is. It's a lot. You see, great channel. They need quality of life, some kind of fast travel. Traveling from Riverlands to Anvils and back, for example, is beyond tedious. I am a fan, and thank you so much, Ace. Appreciate it. I think there should be flight pans. I was kind of trying to make a mock-up of the Riverlands. I think you need to have flight paths to every zone, but the condition of riding a flight path is you can't transport materials on you. So if you want to go to the Anvils, because let's say you're going to go to a grind spot with your guild or, wherever, then, hey, go on this flight path from the Riverlands to the Anvils, and you don't have to fucking worry about anything. I think that's also could be potentially a good gold sink. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but hey, if you can, I would love to fucking travel to the Anvils for 40 silver, on a flight path from Riverlands to Anvils, and not have to fucking go through the tropics or whatever. But yeah, I think if anytime you go to a flight master and you have materials on you, it'll say like, hey, you can't fly my Griffin, or you can't fly my mount until you get rid of your materials, or something like that, right? Amazing idea. I was going to say flash travel doesn't help PvP. True. Like, I get the whole PvP argument, but again, flight paths are going to be limited anyway. I don't want like a bazillion flight paths. Like, I think every biome should have one flight path. So it's not like the Riverland should have like 6 flight points Like, I'm not saying that there should be a flight point from Jova to Marilith and from Marilith to Winstead. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the Riverland should have literally one flight path that you go to fly to any other zone, basically. So that's kind of my idea. I mean, just the time zips like WoW, but only general areas cut off have travel. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's a bad idea. Like I think I wouldn't mind Zeppelins, and Zeppelins actually should be a part of the scientific settlement system. Like once that ends up happening, I think at a once they add the transporter from one scientific settlement to another, but the Zeppelin is also potentially there too. What fucks me off are the nameplates in PvP. Sometimes they're only appearing and then only when you're in someone's face. Yes, because of the server, like the pop in and out shit, like that's what makes it so terrible. Imagine you have to finish work and you need to go to Anvil's and only have 1.5 hours to play. That's gonna be your whole day running. No, exactly. That's what I mean. Like I personally, that's why I want there to be like some kind of faster travel, right? I'm not about teleportation, but I think flight paths is not a bad thing. Let me see. Summoner could play summon party members one every 30 minutes or something like that. I'm not a fan of that. Right now, there's the family summoning system that is not in the game right now, and that has been very controversial since I entered this community back in 2020. Many people have figured out ways to circumvent and spreadsheet your family in a guild to literally fast travel everybody to a certain area to Zerg. And I just don't want that to happen, you know? So I think, again, I would be down for a flight path personally. I would also be down for think about caravan services. Like, so think of like an NPC caravan that literally goes all around the biome. So if you need to be AFK, it's kind of like, think of like a city bus, but it's like a faster caravan that all you do is you get in and then you'll go to like, it'll do a whole like roundabout throughout the whole thing. And it's constantly on loop, you know? I think that'd be pretty fun. Let me see, would it be okay if it was like spouse summoning? But that's it. I don't even think that, like, I am not a fan of the family summoning system at all. Like at all. That's just my thing. KBZ or KBZod, thank you so much for the follow, brother. Thank you. All right, let's keep watching. We're almost done.
Right now, the pattern looks like a studio entering a new phase, one where timelines, staffing, and business strategy are more tightly connected than ever before. So with everything on the table, the history, the numbers, and the risks, here's where I land. I want to end this the same way I started. This isn't a hate video. This isn't doom. I still have hope, and I genuinely believe there are improvements that could make the experience meaningfully better without needing a miracle. Real stability gains, economy and crafting tweaks, quality of life fixes, better PvE loops using the content we already have, and PvP incentives that create real conflict instead of constant crate running drama. Can they make the game feel meaningfully better in 6 months? Yes, I think they can. But whether they do it in the right way depends on the choices they make next, and whether the push toward beta is being driven by readiness or by runway. And that's why 2026 is the year that matters. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share.
Awesome. Well, this was a really great video. Let me go ahead and share this to you guys. If you haven't seen my boy Phantom X and Theory Forge, highly recommend. Go support him. Go check out his content. He makes amazing content. This was a really great video. I think his research and everything, and he's been there since the beginning. Someone from my chat asked me, how do I know a major patch is coming? So Ash's Moments put out this today because Margaret said very early in the morning, you know, when will a major update arrive? That's what someone asked in Discord. And she said, tune into our live stream this month for more updates on what's coming. If this is a very straightforward question, if the major update was literally this week, she would have said, it's literally going to be tomorrow. It's literally going to be on Friday. But the fact that she says tune into our live stream this month means that it's not coming this month. So that's again, like that's where I got this information. So, I mean, they could say like, hey, like it's happening tomorrow, but like she's the director of communications. If she doesn't know that the major patch is actually releasing tomorrow, like odd. So this just kind of told me in a nutshell that a major update isn't happening until, till after the live stream, and the live stream is going to be on the 30th. So traditionally, Intrepid always does their monthly live streams at the end of the month, but typically on a Friday. So this is the last Friday of the month, and it's actually like, pretty perfect. So they could potentially delay, and they have done this before in the past, where it is assumed that they're going to have it on the 30th, but then they delay it another week. So they have not announced it yet, but typically they've always announced the live stream a week prior to the live stream. So on the 23rd at 1 p.m. Central, they'll always make an announcement saying like, hey, make sure to catch us next week, on yada, 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 yada. That's literally how it's always been. Let me see. Their last major update didn't even work. Did we even have a major update? I mean, that wasn't just a couple of lines of code. Like, to me, a major update is literally like pretty, look at the patch that EA had. Like, whenever you look at the patch notes for early access, that's kind of not on the same level, but on a semi level of what I'm expecting for this patch. There needs to be a lot of shit in it. Well, it's where there's been messages saying that they were waiting for Steam approval or whatever it was. Yeah, I know. It's been, the whole communication's been weird, dude. The whole communication has been just super duper weird. So yeah. Let me see. Like we discussed today, make it every 2 hours. You can fast travel because the guy is only able to for an hour can benefit from the most. Like I said, there needs to be things that where you can do something. I'm not saying that the flight path from the Riverlands to Anvils needs to take 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think honestly, flying from, Riverlands to Anvils can take 2 minutes. And then you just having to travel. Like, traveling is just a part of this game. Like, again, I am that person that you're talking about. Like, I have maybe a couple hours to play a night. And I don't want this to be like all convenienced for me, because that's going to end up exacerbating the people that can play this game for 16 to 18 hours a day. So, Vladis, did any guild on Shoal get forced named or forced renamed? Not that I know of. Let me see. Lucky we got Sports Fishing. I was worried for a minute we might get a second archetype. I don't know about all that. We'll see. But yeah, it's there's a lot. There is a lot that we need to do. There's a lot Ashes of Creation needs to do. And I think right now we are at a point in time where it feels very odd. And I don't understand why we need to wait for the PTR. I really don't. Like, we've had major patches without having to go through PTR before that had a lot of major changes to them. And let's be fair, a lot of the times we go and get PTR and then we get feedback on some of the broken things from the PTR that still end up getting pushed out to live anyway. So what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, that's my thing. I agree with what you said, Vlad. We need to be able to fast travel to a place, but be restricted by your inventory coming back. It's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, and I've told this to Intrepid. I mean, I think, again, I don't know if flight paths were ever a part of the plan, but why the fuck not? Like, why not? To me, it's not a bad thing. I think if you're really worried about, lack of PvP or whatever, then make the flight points take less than 30 seconds. If you fly from Anvils or from Anvils to Riverlands, it's 30-second flight. You fly anywhere else, it takes like super short amount of time. So that way you're not in the air for a long period of time to, get away from the PvP or whatever. Like, I mean, I think if you need to go from one point to another, then you should be able to. And that would make it really cool too for storage. You know what I mean? Like, if I could fly like my empty bags to the June Dark and farm all the time, like, or not, like at least that day, like all day in the June Dark, and then put it in my main storage location in the June Dark, and then fly back to the Riverlands. That's cool. You know what I mean? And then if I want to fly to the June Dark and put some stuff in my bags, then I can either do a caravan to go back to the, like fly back, or not fly back, but like ride back to the Riverlands, or do all the stuff I need to do. I mean, yeah, fast travel sounds lame. To me, fast travel is like hearthing or teleporting. Like that to me is fast travel. Like mounts and flight paths is like faster travel. So that to me is like how I interpret it. Let me see. Depends. They can get whitelisted for fast track. From what I heard from other games. I don't know what the whole deal with the whole PTR and Steam and just all this other stuff. Just make it to where you can't fly with materials. This includes mares on their flying mounts, because right now mares are scooping up rare spawns like at lightning speed, not giving others even a chance. 100%. And I've given that feedback to Intrepid. Like I don't know how long you've been watching, Jesse, but I basically said for flight paths, if you try to buy a flight path to another zone, you have to have a completely empty, like your bags have to be all empty. You can't have any materials in your storage, or any materials within your mining bag, your herbing bag, or anything. It has to be completely empty. I personally think that if you're a mare, you shouldn't be able to get on your flying mount, or maybe you can be on your flying mount if you have stuff in your materials bag, but you can't fly. Like, I think it's stupid that you can fly with materials. Like I do. In this kind of a landscape game, or this kind of the way the systems are in this game, it's so beyond overpowered to have these mares fly. Like it's with materials. It's just super overpowered. I feel like we don't need quick travel unless scientific ZOI. It's what keeps differing prices on the market in different cities. But you can still have those same prices even with flight paths. If you can't transport materials on those flight paths, that means you still have to run them on foot. My thing is that if I'm in the Riverlands and my guild is doing like a grind session in, the Badlands, and I don't want to fucking fly, like I don't want to like run over there, I can just fly over there with my empty bags and meet up with them to go over there. So like, I don't think it's a bad thing. See, I'm wondering if Steam PTR may be an investor requirement. I don't think that's it either. I don't know what it is, but I don't think that's what it is. But some EA games or early access games managed to get whitelisted before. I'm a mare, and I think flying shouldn't be in the game. Me too. I would rather have mares have a better version of a glider. So like whatever the standard glider is, there should be potentially like a better version of that mares can have. But yeah, I think flying in Ashes of Creation is just, it sounded good on paper, but honestly, coming from Burning Crusade, flying truly destroyed like a lot of the game. And then once you add flying, you can never go back. Like that's the main issue. Once you have it, you can't really just get it out of the game after that. So I would rather them just stick to gliders. Like just stick to, yes, there will be gliders. There will be gliding mounts and there will be gliders. Flyers are absolutely broken for intel and PvP. Yes, I don't want it. I personally don't want it. And I've advocated to the staff about that many times. Yeah, we had a war today with one settlement not having a mare because it just leveled to level 3. Ooh. They're literally copying all from Arcade. Yeah, I mean, I would say Arcade, Lineage 2. That's the two games that Steven kind of played to. Literally, my whole citizen chat was complaining about Yuki flying above us. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, right? Like, flying is just, it creates such a huge advantage. Such a huge advantage. And I don't like it. Like, I don't like it. And you aren't the first mayor or the first person that actually had a flying mount that says, God, Lee, this is so overpowered. And it's like, this will break the game. Like there's other mayors that have talked to me that have said that exact same thing. They should stick best of what the best of it and improve it, create their own idea. 100%. I hope they do. And I hope they continue to iterate and flesh out a lot of these systems. Would it be a good city economy to have paid flight travel with a long CD mixed passive economy for quest boards? I pitched to Intrepid that the flight path should be in a neutral location. I don't want any settlement to offer a flight path. Like, I basically gave him the idea that in the Riverlands, So Lion's Hold, right? So where you spawn, there's like a lake with like a little island in the center. I was basically explaining to them that that's where the flight path should be for the Riverlands. Now, I don't know where they could potentially be in the other areas, but I want the flight paths to be in a more neutral location. That's my thing. And I'd want the flight paths to be somewhere that a player isn't going to be hassled to use. Like, that's my thing. Does the fantasy aesthetics matter? Flying mounts are cool, but destroying the gameplay is lame. Are there any game that fits good? Like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about, like, are you asking what game fits flying mounts? Well, depending on who you ask, I think it's a matter of opinion, but I think flying mounts in MMOs are typically very bad, but it also depends on what systems the MMO is trying to do. Because if you're going very solo, like if you're catering completely to solo players, you don't have much of like, or you don't care kind of like about economy or materials or whatever, then yeah, adding flying mounts isn't really going to change anything about that game. But in a game like Ashes with economy and materials and having limited materials or rare materials, flying mounts just completely destroys that out the window, especially if you can fly with them. It's like, I would say the biggest profession that I would see is lumberjacks, because if you can see a whipping willow or a braidwood as a flyer, which you can see them very fucking well, you just swoop in, drop your braidwood, and then swoop back out and leave. That's so fucking overpowered. Meanwhile, I'm over here running in my freaking 165 or 170% horse. I'll never be able to do something like that. Like it's insane. Let me see. Vanilla WoW was so alive, then TBC launched and the world felt dead. Exactly. Like you hardly ever saw people like just on the ground unless they were trying to kill something, but everyone else was just flying around. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. Like for coming from World of Warcraft, like I believe that, you know, flying destroyed a lot of the game, like when it was in TBC. Again, it's a really cool attractor. Like flying mounts are this really cool thing to people, which is true. But in a world like Ashes, you can have gliding mounts. You can still have like mounts that are dragons with wings and birds or whatever you want, falcons, you know, phoenixes. But you don't have to necessarily make them fly. You don't need to make them fly. I think that is something that, you know, again, once you open that box, you're never going to be able to close it back up again. Flight paths at the Lion's Hold in northern starting area. Yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted it to be somewhere like in a very neutral area. So that way it just like doesn't harm the ecosystem, you know, of people trying to come and go like as they please kind of thing. But yeah, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off. It's been a really awesome stream. Thank you all so much for coming in, hanging out with me. I really, really appreciate the raid, from earlier. Elite. Sorry. I almost forgot your name. Video games, you fixed it just as we were about to end stream. All right, brother. Well, we'll talk afterwards, but yeah, dude, thank you so much for the raid, man. It's really nice to meet you. I have to check out your content. I don't think I've ever seen you, but there's been so many people streaming Ashes of Creation recently. So I'll see if I can check out your content. But guys, if you are watching me, I do stream Ashes of Creation content every single day on Twitch and on YouTube Shorts on regular YouTube. So if you want to keep up to date with my content, you know, just hit that subscribe button on YouTube or hit that heart button on Twitch. It'll keep you up to date anytime I go live. And yeah, I'm new to Ashes fairly. Okay, man. Well, welcome, man. I've been here for 5 years, so I am very, very seasoned in this this community, brother. So welcome, man. Good to have you. All right, so let's see who is streaming Ashes of Creation currently. I want to say the Golden Feather was streaming. I hope they're still streaming. Golly, see, there's so many people freaking playing right now. Yeah, I see Dusty. I usually try to give like the raid to, like, you know, some of the smaller streamers just to you know, because Jesse always has like hundreds of people watching him. So, sorry, I'm just. All right, I want to go pass it off to Wick Willow. He's a good dude. Wait, someone was saying something to me. Vlad, do you know of Construction? He's a smaller streamer. I do not know of him. Send me his link, Blight, in a Discord message, and that way I'll have him on my radar for next time. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe and have a good day.